Hey guys, and welcome into another video with tomjsherlock. That's me, and here I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Esports World Cup, which is taking place over in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia from August the 1st to August the 4th. The Esports World Cup was formerly known as Gamers 8, but now it's the rebrand to the Esports World Cup, and it's got a lot more teams taking part. So let's have a look at which teams qualified for the Esports World Cup and how they got there. And also, some of these teams have had a couple of changes since the Manchester Major. So let's get into that now. So the Esports World Cup has 16 teams taking part in the tournament over the course of 4 days, with 4 teams coming in from Brazil, which will be FaZe, W7N, Team Liquid and Furia. Then we have PSG Talon representing the Korean region, Bleed Esports representing Asia, GK Esports for MENA, Bliss for Oceanic region, Team Cruelty for the LATAM region, Scars from Japan, and then our European representatives will be BDS, Wolves and Into the Breach, up the ITB baby. And then from North America we will have Dark Zero, Luminosity and Space Station Gaming. But we're going to quickly show you what money is on the line for this tournament, as it is probably the biggest purse in any of esports regarding Rainbow Six Siege. So the prize fund for the Esports World Cup in total will be $2 million, with the first place side getting themselves a chunk of money with $750,000. Second place $350k, third to fourth place each getting $160k, and then you can see the breakdown from 5th to 8th, 9th to 12th and 13th to 16th. So just qualifying for the Esports World Cup gets yourself a healthy bag of $25,000. But first of all, we're going to look at our European representatives, with me being from the EU, despite me moving down to Australia, where I'm now living, by the way. But we're going to have a look at which EU teams qualified and how they went about doing it right now. So we had 8 out of the 9 teams competing in EUL going into the closed qualifiers for the EU Quals for the Esports World Cup, with only Wild missing out. And as you can see here, Secret smashed Ents 2-1, BDS overcame Virtus Pro, Into the Breach 2-0'd Fnatic, Wolves beating the new look G2. We then went into our semi-finals with BDS winning convincingly 2-0 up against Team Secret, Wolves winning convincingly up against ITB, so those 2 teams qualified. And then for the third spot, we saw what is becoming a little bit of a fierce rivalry, with Adrian against Creeds. Let's not forget former team members at G-Who, but this time Creeds got the better of Adrian, with Into the Breach qualifying as the third team from EU. But one team we're going to look at that has qualified is Wolves, because they have a new look 5, and we'll take a look at that 5 now. So as you can see here, Wolves did indeed qualify, and they did it the easy way without having to drop down to that lower bracket. They did get rid of 2 players in the off-season, with Shinka and Bibu stepping away from Wolves. They then brought in Lasmo from Make Your Destiny and Asa from 7 Times. So 2 rookies and new players to T1, and Wolves picked them up, took the gamble, and they got the job done and found themselves qualified for the Esports World Cup. Now we're going to have a quick look at what happened over in the North America qualifiers for the Esports World Cup. So going into the North American qualifiers for the Esports World Cup, you have Beast Coast joining up with Cloud9. Unfortunately, they couldn't keep on with the heroics from the Manchester Major as they fell away to Sonics. They then progressed up against Dark Zero after Dark Zero beat Wildcard. And Dark Zero doing Dark Zero things, they seem to be qualifying for pretty much every single thing they can recently. Dark Zero qualifying through there. And then the other shock one was Luminosity coming out 2-1 victors up against M80. They then proceeded to beat Space Station Gaming 2-0. So Luminosity made it through to the Esports World Cup. A little bit of an underdog story there, but they also had a change in the off-season. And then we had SSG coming up trumps up against Sonics. And SSG, who I have to be honest, as a European, I'm not a big fan of supporting NA teams. But SSG, the energy they bring is absolutely fantastic. And they've also brought in one of the best gunners in all of the EU. And if you've missed this transfer, this is the man they got in. A lovely bit of work coming in from the SSG social team, I have to say. And they've got him, Benjamaster, the Danish sensation, coming over to join what is a hugely stacked team. And I have to say, I'm really excited to see how SSG perform over in the Esports World Cup. And then also coming into stage 2 of NAL. And we'll take a quick look now at the new player who's come and joined Luminosity and help them qualify for a LAN event as well. So here's the little bit of the promo that you can see from Luminosity social when they qualified for the Esports World Cup. And the new man they got in was indeed Sir, formerly of Wildcard. He also played a little bit of a part for Team SBL as a substitute when they replaced that Mirage side. But what we'll do now is we're just going to show you how they qualified, and it was all thanks to that new man Surf rocking the glass over on Consulate.
They do want to play aggressively. They're not going to be able to play off of that info, but Eddie is going to go for the plant. C4 is inevitably going to come out to try and deny that. He's going to try and bait it out. Oh, he got the kill! Oh, beautiful! Surf with the double kill now gets the bearing out, trying to contest it. He gets the kill again! Oh my god, it's a 2v1 down. All to Ash to try and bring it in, and he gets shut down! Luminosity just say, hell no, we do not need to plan. We are going to Riyadh.
Insanity from Surf. And
we're now going to look over to Brazil to see who qualified from the Brazilian region. You could argue that with Brazil being the strongest region in the world currently, or over the past course of the calendar year really, that's why they probably get 4 spots for the Esports World Cup. And no surprises, FaZe, Furia, W7M, they're going to be going, and they're going to be joined by Team Liquid. Can Palu and Nest finally get it together and win Team Liquid a fuck ton of money? We're only going to find out at the start of August, but no real surprises I feel there. E1 obviously had a fantastic run making it to Manchester, but couldn't repeat those heroics this time round. So it's going to be FaZe, W7M, Furia and Liquid representing Brazil over in Riyadh. Our next region was the Japanese region, and who else but the ever impressive Scars. I have to be honest, coming out of the Japan region, it seems to be that battle between KAG and Scars to see who is the strongest team in all of Japan, but it's Scars who come out on top once again with a 2-1 win up against KAG, and they booked their spot as the sole representatives from Japan competing over in Riyadh. Next, we hop on over to Korea, where that man Fabian has done wonders again. PSG Talon come out on top, qualifying for the Esports World Cup with a 2-1 victory over against Fear X, and they've also brought in a new man, and boy did he look good in the quals. It's no other than Yas, and we'll show you their little graphic which goes hard as well of the team qualifying for the Esports World Cup. Fabian does it again, the God Emperor. Can he add an Esports World Cup to his belt, along with being the 3-time? We will find out. So as mentioned, here is the graphic, and boy does it go hard. I don't know what this means, but if you know, tell me in the comments. But there we have it. PSG Talon continuing to look impressive. Let's not forget they looked impressive over in Manchester as well, but we'll see how they perform up against stiff competition over in Riyadh. So another region which only had 1 representative making it to the Esports World Cup was LATAM, and the team that qualified were Team Cruelty, who also qualified for the Manchester Major, so continuing to be dominant in that region. I don't know if anyone saw the beef on Twitter, but Team Cruelty were giving it to the Revan lads, you've got to say, in that final map which they won 2-1 on Shallow. I won't go into any of the drama, but have a browse on Twitter. But yeah, Team Cruelty qualified through to the Esports World Cup from the LATAM region. Our next region to qualify for the Esports World Cup was the MENA region itself, with GK Esports coming out on top in a tightly contested battle against a new look Twisted Minds. Twisted Minds brought in some imports of Sleben and JLo, and they took GK very deep into map 3, but GK themselves got in a new import with Frenchie coming on over from Ent. And we'll look at their little graphic and their lineup. It's pretty much the same team that was competing. They've just added in Frenchie as the import who came from Ents into the GK team. And it obviously worked because they find themselves qualifying and playing for a share of that $2 million prize fund. So here you can see here the graphic of the GK team qualifying. And boy does that graphic go hard. I believe that is indeed the trophy that the team will get to lift. Not GK, but whoever wins the Esports World Cup. And just up here, you can see the team of Seriously, Trix, Key, Neskin, and Frenchie. That is going to be the 5 that will be representing GK in Saudi, battling it out to try and win the Esports World Cup. But now we're quickly going to look at the 2 remaining regions of Oceania and Asia. So over in the Oceanic region, who else but the boys of Bliss? Can I do this? Bliss up? Bliss up maybe? I don't know if that works. It probably doesn't. But the boys of Bliss get the job done up against Antic in the grand final. But don't let the scoreline 2-0 deceive you. Antic did put up one hell of a fight, losing map 1 8-7 and map 2 8-7. So Bliss taking a little bit closer, which may show that the Oceanic region is heating up a little bit and the other teams may come to play in stage 2. But who knows, time will tell, and we will see how Bliss do over in the Esports World Cup as well. So our final region, and they only had one representative coming over from Asia, and who else but Bleed. Bleed have been so dominant in that Asia region. Unfortunately, when it gets to the majors, they can't quite get to that main stage, going 2-up in Manchester and then ending up 3-2. And then that was also the case in, oh my God, was it Atlanta? Atlanta, I think, where they went 2-up in the Swiss stage and then lost their next 3 games as well. Can Bleed put in more of a performance? They will be playing on land straight away. Who knows? With the crowd there, it might change how they perform. But Bleed come out 2-1 victors up against Fury. And it is indeed a new look Bleed. And we will take a look at that new 5 now. So our new look Bleed is here. Asfi has taken some time off. And leader Jake, as we know him, the man who played in my community tournaments and won them a ton of times. The community tournaments you can take part in as well. They're called the tomjsherlock Invitational Tournament, otherwise known as the TIT. And Jake, leader, has won himself about 3 or 4 TITs already. Can this man go on to win himself an Esports World Cup? Who knows? He played with GK, let's not forget, but he did have to play in a black t-shirt because they didn't give him a shirt. Hopefully Bleed can give this man finally a jersey to wear when he's playing on the stage. But that's your new look Bleed team that have qualified through to the Esports World Cup. And the groups have recently just been announced, and we'll take a look at how these 16 teams have been split in half and who will be playing who in Group A and Group B. So here we have Group A of the Esports World Cup. You're going to have BDS going up against Team Cruelty. If I was a betting man, I think this could be a very, very, very rough time for Team Cruelty. So I'd probably say BDS to win in that fixture. Then you have SSG up against W7M. It may be my EU bias, but I think with the firepower of Ashen and Benja, I think SSG should probably overcome W7M there. Then you have Luminosity up against Bliss. The Dark Horses, the surprise pick coming over from NA, going up against the Oceanic Aussie Giants of Bliss. I think that's a toss-up, but now I've moved to Australia, I'm obviously backing my boys of Bliss. And then you have PSG Talon up against Liquid, which I think could be an absolute corker of a matchup. And I would love to see PSG Talon and Fabian and the boys pull off a fantastic result up against Team Liquid. Just to let you know how the bracket works here, if you win your game, you go into the upper semis. If you lose your game, you go down into the lower bracket. If you lose twice, you're out of the tournament. That's as simple as it works. So I would probably say BDS versus SSG, which would mean you'd probably have Cruelty up against W7M. And then I'd probably say PSG Talon and Bliss to win there, which means Luminosity up against Liquid. So how it works is 4 out of these 8 teams will be making it through to the playoffs. But now we'll take a look over at Group B, and I'll also give my predictions. I'm probably going to be entirely wrong in this next one as well. So Group B, I would argue, is probably the stronger side of the bracket, with Dark Zero going up against GK. I think with GK bringing in Frenchie, it's obviously worked for them as they managed to win those close quals over in MENA. But Dark Zero just looks so strong at the moment. I think Dark Zero probably come out the better there. And then as an ITV content creator, we probably couldn't have had a worse matchup going up against Furia. We know the aura that surrounds Furia. If you aren't aware why there's an aura surrounding Furia, let's not forget that they were the team formerly known, the former players of W7M, who won both majors and SI in that year. So winning all 3 events they could possibly win. Didn't have a good performance at Manchester though. And this is the first time that this ITB team play up against a Brazilian team. and I believe it is going to be a best of 1. It's only eliminations that are best of 3s. So who knows? I'm obviously backing the boys of Into the Breach. Go on the boys of ITV. And then we have Wolves up against Bleed. This is going to be a really intriguing matchup, I think, with this new look Wolves side and then Leader coming in for Bleed. I do have a bit of EU bias, but with Leader over in Bleed, I'm backing Bleed to come out on top in this one. And then you have Scars up against FaZe. I'd love an underdog, but I can't see anyone other than FaZe winning in this matchup. But that brings us to an end of the groups. Who do you think is going to make it through in these initial games? And who are you pipping for your winner of the entire tournament? Let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have any more questions about how the Esports World Cup is going to work, let me know. So as you can see here, the Esports World Cup will be taking place soon at the start of August, from August the 1st to August the 4th. As I said, let me know in the comments who you think is going to take this one and get the majority of that $2 million prize fund. As I mentioned in the video, I have recently relocated to Australia, but I will still be streaming on a UK schedule on Wednesdays, Thursdays and Fridays, and then Aussie evenings, Mondays and Tuesdays. And I am also still doing the watch parties and everything. My sleep pattern might take a hit, but you know what they say, continue the grind, baby. And hopefully I'll see you in the next YouTube video, or on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or on Twitch. And I'll see you soon, guys. Have a lovely rest of your evening, and thanks for stopping by.